Hello, I'm Prathyush, and today I want to talk to you about Taali, directed by Ravi Jadhav. In 2017, the transgender activist and social worker Gauri Sawant was featured in an ad by Vicks, part of their Touch of Care campaign. A 3.5-minute film directed by Gauri, it was both a sensitive and moving ode to motherhood, while also rethinking what we mean when we use words like family or mother. We generally do not think of advertisements as piecemeal works of cinema, but when our cinema has begun to have the texture of extended advertisements, we must also rethink our relationship to them. Think of how narratively Gauri Sawant's motherhood is established with moving swings of drama first, before her transness. This is because the film wants to reorient our prejudice, and so pulls us in through pungent stains of feeling, creating this ideal character of a mother before bringing up her trans identity. This way, Gauri has cushioned her transness. It's such a tender, intelligent, and playful swerve. Fleshing Gauri Sawant's life beyond motherhood, creators Arjun Baran and Kartk Nishandar and director Ravi Jadhav have produced a heavy-handed, lead-footed portrait in the 6-episode Taali. We're introduced to the breadth of her personality from the very first utterance. Hijda, social worker, nautanki, game changer.
तुझे हम जैसे लोगों से कोई लेना देना नहीं है और अगर है तो पहले हम जैसा बन के दिखा अंदर से.
The film begins in the hours leading up to the 2014 Nalsa judgment, which declared the transgender people the third gender and affirmed that the fundamental rights granted under the Constitution of India will also be applicable to them. A progressive judgment, it gave them the right to self-identify as male, female, or the third gender, along with providing provisions for reservation in education and jobs. Gauri is waiting with bated breath for this judgment, while also giving an interview to a white journalist. Through the interview, we're given glimpses into her past as hard-edged flashbacks. Her childhood in the body of a boy, her loving mother, her father who never raised a hand on her but never understood her, her fleeing to Mumbai and building a life for herself and other trans women. Her life is stripped down to episodic events and dramatized with the kind of graceless, full-bodied screeching that refuses to see a life as anything but fodder. Every scene feels labeled. This one is motherhood, that one is social service. Despite spending 3 hours with the character, we do not see her as anything beyond the sketched silhouette of a newspaper profile. She becomes a culmination of the various traumas, one sedimenting over the other. But the human beauty of character emerges only from the cracks of events. It's only then that we begin to see them as fuller beings, not symbolic figures of power or queerness. There is a troubling relationship our storytelling has with queerness. Even Meher, the trans character in the recently released 2nd season of Made in Heaven, there is this irrepressible urge to see queer characters as formed from trauma. This is the kind of storytelling that looks at identity as a space of wallowing, of grieving, of eternal sadness. Even the joy feels like gifts, unearned pinpricks. When Gauri walks off a stage in victory, having shown the panelists their place, a moment of sweet joy is undercut immediately by news of the suicide of a friend. The assumption is that if queer bodies are not twisted into figures of agony, of what use are they then? Towards the end of the show, one of Gauri's companions, a gay man, speaks of how he always saw his life as a summation of dukh, dard, sharm and dar. And that until he met Gauri, he did not realize she, as a trans woman, has it worse. A competition of despair has been ticked off. This is not to say that queer bodies don't experience trauma. It is to say that queer bodies don't only experience trauma. But there is something more troubling in Taali. The show makes Gauri's decision to transition medically into a woman as some sort of mimetic desire, a peer pressure exercise to belong to the Hijda community. She is haunted by the image of one of the Hijdas who refuses to speak to her unless she becomes one of them. And I quote, "Bahar se nahi, andar se." Why would someone born in the body of a man yearn for womanhood? What is it about being a woman that the body intuitively, biologically lunges towards? There is a controversial idea that woman is not a biological but a social category. To quote Simone de Beauvoir, one is not born but rather becomes woman. It is this socialness of being a woman that we see Gauri itching at. When she's asked in school what she wants to become, she says she wants to become a mother. It is this desire to be a mother, as in to be a caretaker, to cook warm, healthy meals, to dress in gorgeous saris that trail her powerful figure. And it is this powerful figure that Sushmita Sen embodies with a rousing, shrill performance, one that never lets you forget it is Sushmita Sen playing Gauri Sawant. Be it the accent that keeps withering or the makeup giving Sen an evening shadow, the way we would powder ourselves excitedly in school plays. There is a performative joy in hearing Gauri Sawant speak in panels or at protests. By performing this performativity, it becomes easy for representation to feel like parody. But Sushmita Sen gives an odd dignity to her gait. In her effort, you don't see Gauri Sawant, but an earnest Sushmita Sen trying to perform biography, one whose reach exceeds her grasp. But it's not enough, not nearly. But at least there's dignity.